Hey y'all, what's up? Thank y'all for clicking on the video. I'm back. We about to do a movie review while I do my makeup. I am getting ready for work. This is not a tutorial, y'all, but feel free to take anything you can from whatever I'm doing if you so choose.
It's makeup and movie reviews.
Get your makeup, get your makeup.
It's makeup and movie reviews.
Get your makeup, get your makeup. Oh.
So today I wanted to review the Wendy Williams movie, y'all, because I have taken forever to watch this movie. It came out like 5 years ago in 2021. And at the time, I did not have a streaming service that was showing it because it was on Lifetime. And y'all know back then, especially around like 2020 and all that stuff, we were more interested in having the subscriptions. Now I see more people kind of still having cable, and there's like little bundle deals and TV deals and all that other stuff. But at that time, y'all, I did not have cable. I did not. It was okay though, because I didn't need cable to know the story, because guess what? I'm a real fan, okay? A real fan of Wendy Williams. Now, I haven't read all of Wendy's books. I think she's written like quite a few. Actually, in the movie, she does show herself writing Ask Wendy. So these are just the two that I've read, and I read them years back, y'all. So yes, I am a very big fan of Miss Wendy. She has inspired my journey in a lot of ways, including my moisturization routine. If anybody knows and watched Wendy, y'all know she always told us to start early with our moisturization. So as y'all can see, this is me barefaced, no makeup, nothing. But girl, very moisturized. Auntie Wendy told us, she told us right, okay? I really enjoyed these books. I really enjoyed hearing about her life and her work ethic. It definitely made me more of a fan of Wendy, and kind of like, she was just very inspiring for me. I actually at one point wanted to be a journalist, because if y'all don't know, I know Wendy gives y'all the hot topics, but this is actually considered journalism. This lady went to school for communications. You can do journalism under quite a few majors, including like history and like, there are some other majors. You don't have to necessarily be a journalism major to do journalism. Wendy was a very big inspiration. So let's talk about the movie. Okay, I'm done yapping y'all's heads off about how much of a fan I am and was of Wendy's, and I just want to talk about this movie. All right, so I don't want to make this super technical. I'm gonna just say Sierra Payton, she played Wendy. Phenomenal job. She got all of the mannerisms right in my book. Okay, she doesn't necessarily look like Wendy, but she kind of does have this New York kind of je ne sais quoi. I don't even know if she's from New York, but if she's not, that would make her even better of an actress. Morocco Omari, who played Kevin Hunter, even though now Wendy calls him Kelvin, which I don't get it, y'all. Have y'all noticed that? Okay, I don't know. Anyways, Kelvin, or Kevin Hunter, which I thought he did a great job too. He definitely gave Big Kev, or what I believed Big Kev would be in my mind, because he was not very like in our faces. We got the guy who played Eric B, Jamal Johnson. Just to name a few, y'all. Sasha Hayden was really good person to play Sharina Hudson, which was, the alleged cheatation scandalation. Anywho, everybody did a great job. It definitely gave what it needed to give as far as like everybody around her. So, all right, the movie. So, okay, so as a big fan of Wendy, and as a person who read the books, these books particularly did highlight basically what the movie had. And I was surprised how much of Wendy's life they actually squeezed into this 90-minute movie. But I was also very happy with 90 minutes, because have y'all noticed that movies are just long nowadays? Like, girl, who got time for all that? And with that being said, that does mean that they sped through a lot of things, but they did include a lot of things too. So as a person who read the books, there are some things that I wanted to know, and I almost wish that the movie showed me things I didn't know, right? I wanted them to dive a little bit into her, like going to college or whatever, because I wanted her to have her Legally Blonde moment. Even when she went to St. Croix, I wanted to know a little bit more about that journey, because there wasn't a huge amount of details about it in the book. So I just wanted to know some stuff I didn't already know. the parts that they did show, which I was actually super surprised about, because I watched a lot of Wendy, okay, y'all. I would watch her show, and then I would watch her after show after work, because sometimes I could catch her show at work. Actually, I was the original Olivia Pope, girl. I used to come home and have me kettle corn and white Zinfandel. I wasn't on red wine at that moment, and I used to watch me some Wendy and her after show. So when I used to watch her, she was very, very private for the most part. Like, she would kind of sometimes start talking about her home life and whatnot, but there would be moments where that freaking camera would cut and then it would switch subjects, because I feel like Wendy, just like when they showed her as a child in the movie, she definitely was an oversharer, okay? A lot of Wendy's story is cautionary, I feel. I feel like if you really pay attention, she was very open with the mistakes that she made, and even just her own personal things that are just, things that we all go through as humans. And like, as we learn to like socialize in this world and like get around, and how, even her relationships, I feel like the details that they did add, which in those cases, they did kind of, beef it up a little bit for the person who read the book. I was surprised that there were some sex scenes. I was like, oh my God, okay, Miss Wendy. Girl, okay, my little virgin eyes, girl. I feel like the movie was very juicy in that aspect. So, yeah, so like I said, she's very cautionary, but also you can see the personality that Wendy already had, okay, prior to the drugs, y'all. Because one thing that I learned reading her books in general is that I feel like sometimes things get attributed to the wrong things. So like, although Wendy was definitely, doing what she did, okay, I wouldn't attribute her whole personality being to that, because what she showed as a child, and even in her adulthood, me watching her in the after show, and the after show being unscripted, there were moments where she had to kind of like hold back from being an oversharer. So I feel like that's something she's always done. And that's why we got Wendy, the Hot Topics lady. That's how we got her here, because you know what I'm saying? She's always done that. So with that being said, I do feel like she was kind of fair in the fact that she would talk about her own business as well as other people's business. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, y'all. And it's actually part of the reason why I didn't pursue that career all the way, because it seems fun at first, to a degree where you're like, okay, I'm, just telling the entertainment news. Who's pregnant? Who got married? Who named their child Apple? Like, who did what, right? But then you realize like there are some other parts to it where you kind of got to get into the juice. Like, y'all, that scene where she was talking to Whitney, I want to say she said, "Hey, Whitney, how you doing, girl? Are you still on drugs?" I was like, dang, like, that part of it is what makes that career kind of ugly to me, and which is why I didn't want to, like, even though, now I'm gonna be real, there are different types of journalists out there, okay? There are ones that get in the field, get out here in these war-laden streets, girl, and be getting shot at. I wasn't trying to do all that, okay, girl? I wasn't trying to be in the field getting bit up by bugs, okay? So this movie definitely showed the blunders of that side of doing this particular type of journalism. With the girls with Total, when they were about to meet her outside, girl. They were about to meet her outside. How about that? They were about to get Miss Wendy, okay? The girl from Total wasn't playing. Kevin had to come up in there and save her, okay? Tensions was heavy and high, girl, because even though she shared a lot about herself, they showed the part where she shared about her plastic surgery. And, she even got in trouble for sharing her own stuff. I feel like, there's definitely a dark side to what she was doing. Even though we know and love her for her Hot Topics. Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, to say the least, though, y'all. Like, I really enjoyed seeing her life play out like that. I enjoyed seeing the relationship prior to the cheatation, right, with her and Kevin. Because even though Wendy is a cautionary tale as it has to do with love in men, because she definitely had a type, you know what I'm saying? Wendy liked herself a gangster. Okay, she liked the gangster. She said it herself in the movie. She liked the thug. She was very, into that. And she even said, even though Kevin wasn't the type of person her mom would have wanted her to marry, you know, I even have to say he was better than the rest. Okay.
Not by much, but yeah, he was better.
The whole Eric B situation, y'all. Listen, okay, that dude was a straight up user, okay? And I feel like with the climate even today, now, the reason why I watch this movie is because it's free on the internet, okay? But I feel like it's very timely for the relationship conversations we're having today, okay? Because a lot of us women are definitely, opening our eyes to users and abusers and how to spot the red flags, okay? And this dude was a marching band of red flags. The part where he threw the keys at her after he almost got her arrested for basically stealing the rental car. Girl, I ain't gonna lie, I cracked up when she said, "You're welcome." For a real fan, like, I really enjoyed this whole thing because she was just so raw with it, y'all, because a lot of us like to believe like we are so much smarter than a fifth grader, y'all. But we've gone through, if it's not exactly the same thing, that Wendy was going through with her men, her parents, criticizing her, etc., etc. Like, we done been through some stuff out here, okay? And if we would have put it in a movie, I'm just wondering, you know what I'm saying, how many of us would have, put the details in. Because some of us wouldn't have told that story, okay? What Cat Williams said on First Sunday. I wouldn't have told that story. We all have been young before, and we've all done, the dumb stuff, And however, this is one thing I did want to say, though, because, she did deal with some pretty heavy topics in this movie, things that like a lot of us go through that are very, very life-changing, including when she got R-worded by the one guy who was famous at the time. And basically, one thing I wanted to talk about in general when it dealt with that is that theme was way too common back in the day for women to just go through those traumatic things and just move on, move forward, sweep it under the rug, don't seek justice, etc. And although, yes, it shows a particular type of strength and an willingness to move forward, I feel like I don't want us always carrying that type of trophy, like every time, and everybody can't do that, to be honest, okay? Going through those things, because this type of stuff can change you mentally, etc., etc. So I hope that with all of the recent news of, the celebrities like Diddy, Cosby, all of these, Epstein, all of this stuff, that people would seek justice more often, because these types of predators, you know what I'm saying? In general, we don't need them out there on the streets. But also, I just hope that the new generation would understand that this is not how you heal. Although that's what she did, this is not how you heal. Okay, talking to people, people you trust, therapy, etc., and all of these things need to be had, in these types of situations. And I did want to bring that up because I feel like that was very, very relatable, unfortunately. I feel like she put herself through a lot to try to create this fairy tale to a degree. But one more thing I wanted to say kind of before I go, I don't want to make this review too long, because I know this movie has been out for a while, But I want to say I also wanted to see a little bit more with the topics she talked about on the radio. Now, she did show some of the things, like the whole Whitney thing. I wanted her to get into the Diddy thing just because, Wendy was clocking the tea way back in the day. Okay. I would have been interested to see some of the little details playing out. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you read the book, you know what I mean. But yeah, overall, like I said, cute movie. I busted out laughing when I saw the actor that played Charlemagne. I want to say he looked nothing like Charlemagne, but then I also want to say he looked just like Charlemagne, like a little bit. Like I could see why they chose this dude. And anywho, y'all know her and Charlemagne had that little beef or whatever. I don't know what happened between them, but I almost wanted to know that too. Because I don't know what happened between them and why she never really mentioned Charlemagne, but Charlemagne always gave her flowers and attributed her to basically helping his whole career out. The reason why he is where he is. So he's never said anything bad about her, but she just do not mention this man at all. Because for the longest, I never knew that. I would think she would have, said something about that. But maybe she didn't want to brag. I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, they got a lot of details right. Even though I'm saying that I feel like I wanted a little bit more just because, maybe because I read the book. Y'all know how it is when y'all read the book. I feel like they got a lot of the details right. Down to her little chewing gum jar that she would, chew her little gum before she got out on stage and spit it out in the jar. They did a great job with the imagery. Okay. I'm going to say that the actors, the actresses, everybody, like, you could definitely at moments see Wendy. I think I took a couple of screenshots of moments where I was like, oh yeah, I could just picture Wendy. Like they did so great here and there, and I'll probably insert them or whatever. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging. I am about halfway through my makeup. I got to do a little bit of blush, a little bit of eyeliner, and it's just going to be a very soft, natural beat for work, y'all. We not doing too much, okay? So I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to show y'all the finishing look, okay? Okay, so this is the finished look, you guys. What do you think? What do you think? This is just my natural, like, everyday beat for work. Not too much, but yes. All right, y'all. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what y'all thought about the movie, and let me know what y'all thought about the review. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Bye.